Hi, parents and students for class of 2023. Here to tell you really briefly about the CSS profile. It's an additional financial aid document above and beyond the FAFSA. Many of you might be required to submit this document, but haven't noticed, but I'm going to show you today how to look into that and find out if you are required to submit it from any of your schools and submit it as soon as possible. This is the time to submit it while you're out for the holiday. Parents can work on it and students can work together with them. So please, let's get into it right now, I guess is the best thing to do. All right, CS Profile facts and process. Let's take a look at some very basic facts about the CS profile. It's a document, it's a document, additional financial aid document, I should say, above and beyond the FAFSA, requiring additional data from the parents. And yes, the schools do use this to determine financial aid. We'll talk more about who gets it and how you do it now. So what is it? It's an online document that requires additional financial aid information. If you're applying to selective private colleges, you may have a CS profile requirement. There are a few state schools in there too, but it really is mostly private colleges. It is submitted from the College Board website at www.collegeboard.com. Here's some schools that do not require it that are pretty popular on our program. CSU's, CSU's is California State Universities, Universities of California, most local private colleges, public universities in the West, HBCUs, and Black state schools. They do not require it. So the predominant majority of schools do not require it, but more and more now are requiring it. Over 700 private colleges and a few public universities require it. Examples locally, Occidental, USC, and all of the Claremont colleges currently require the CSS profile. Other examples from around the country, George Washington University, all Ivy League colleges, Georgetown, Syracuse, Fordham, NYU. These are all schools that require the CSS profile. Well, then there's the matter of the non-custodial parent. That means the parent of the student. It may be a divorced parent or separated parent. They're required to submit these, a CS profile, after the custodial parent submits the profile. That could be two parents that are parents at the time they would have a profile. And then this additional parent will need to submit a CSS profile. 75% of all these CS profile colleges, about 75%, require the non-custodial parent to do a CSS profile as well. You can know if it's required by the college. There's actually an online list. Let me show you how to find the online list. I'll do that right now. Okay, you just simply Google. You simply Google CSS profile college list. You Google CS profile college list. And you're here. There you go. You go to there and you get a list of all the colleges that require the CSS profile. This is how you check to see if your school requires it. There's 800, well, almost 800. There's over 700 for sure that are on this list. And you might have even seen your colleges are gone there. They're in alphabetical order. It's pretty easy to find them. For example, there, if you go up here, look for USC. Let's see if I can find that. University of Southern California, school 4852. So all of them are here. And you really need to make sure that your school doesn't require it, or whether they require it or not, I should say. Okay. Cost. The first CSS profile is $25 plus $16 for each additional college. So if you have a really large college list, it can get pretty expensive. Sometimes you can get a fee waiver. If you had a fee waiver on your SAT, then you can get a fee waiver here. Sometimes because of the income that you put into the CS profile that gives you a waiver. But if it doesn't, that's the cost. The CS profile colleges also require the federal income tax data and usually do not accept the FAFSA transcripts and the tax return data retrieval like you might have done already. They want this in addition to it. There's a third party that collects these in a process known as IDOC to upload the PDFs. Actually, is a separate website. Once the CS profile is delivered, the student will have in their mailbox delivered links to provide the IDOC, and it reminds you from time to time you receive reminders to deliver the tax data. Because there are a lot of schools that won't give you financial aid without the tax data being uploaded. It's the 2021 federal income tax return, the W-2s from the students and parents, 1099s, and the student non-filer forms. They're all required. How will you know? Again, that email will be provided after the CS profile is delivered. GW is a little different. They require the actual tax return PDFs. Okay, now here's some more miscellaneous information about the CS profile. Waivers of the non-custodial parent requirement. A waiver of it is more difficult to get approved these days, but you could get it approved if there's some extenuating circumstances why the non-custodial parent won't provide the data. Call me about that if you think you have a good reason for that. There are some good reasons for it, and you'll need a third party such as myself usually to fill out information on a form as well. Probably you should have considered all this when you applied for colleges, but you're in it now, so it might make the difference whether you apply for another college or not. Maybe it's something that you check so you don't have another one with a non-custodial information is required, because it could be that the additional financial information will make it difficult to receive financial aid. The cost of the profile is something to be considered when colleges are added. The online CSS profile has been streamlined, but is still very tedious. Yes, colleges do fully consider, like I said, the non-custodial parent CS profile, the other parent. Property equity is in there, investments such as stocks and bonds and Bitcoin and gold, and all these things are considered. Savings, and even the 529 savings is reported on in the CS profile. They use all that to determine the need for financial aid. Well, how do you start the CS profile? Go to www.collegeboard.com. Log in with your SAT logins. Scroll down and click on the CSS profile. Follow the instructions as they pop up. Once the profile is delivered, the student should closely watch their email for further instructions. The due dates are typically February 1st and after. There are a few that are due January 15th, a couple, but most of them are the 1st and after February 15th. A few are March 1st. So right now, which is right around Christmas, is usually when I start reminding people about it. I know you're very busy with Christmas, but this is a great time to do it while your student's home with you, parents. And I know it's the worst thing you want to hear right now. You just want to shut down. A lot of your companies are shut down, but you really can't shut down the college process. This is a very good example. And once you get to January and your job starts back and they start back to school, it's going to be hard to sit down and spend, hour or 2 hours on getting this together. If you're interested in having me to do the profile for you, I can for a very small donation or fee. The proceeds will go to help foster kids visit colleges in the class of 2024. It's a small fee for each CS profile. Just get a hold of me. I'll send you a data sheet and you can do that. All right. Well, I hope that that helps you. I want to see you start your CS profile right away. There are schools where you can't get financial aid without the profile. One notable one is George Washington. they won't give you a dime of financial aid if it's late or not submitted. Okay, so you need to do that. And that one is a strange one because it's due January 1st. It's due coming up here within 10 days. So if you applied to George Washington University, you've got to get that profile delivered now. All right, get a hold of me if you need help. God bless you. Thank you very much.